Hello again. Back to France for this one. Brittany, these farmhouses at Carnac. I took a photograph of this years and years ago, and I've done several paintings of it, including an oil painting, which you can often see props up against my studio wall. I'll see if I remember. I'll add some water across here just to make it a little bit more interesting in the foreground. But the actual area was the megalithic site at Carnac, and in the photograph I've got, there are some menhirs, small ones, dotted around here, but I left them out. I just want this to be a remote farmhouse type of scene. It was very rural, it was close to the coast, beautiful Brittany coast of South Brittany, Morbihan Bay, and I'll do some trees here and stuff. Now I'm using I'm using this Bockingford paper, which I got from Jackson Art. So they're doing a deal at £36 for 50 half imperial sheets. That's 22 inches by 22 inches by 15. And it's Bockingford, and it's rougher than the Fabriano, and it's a little bit thicker. It's £140, whereas the Fabriano is smoother, slicker, suitable for wet in wet. But this is just a little bit more rugged, and it gives a lot more scope in the skies for leaving areas unpainted, dry, and painting round. Also, it's got a remote area. I seem to have done the canopies of that trees, the same as there, but I'll have to vary them. But anyway, that's what we'll have a go at now. My usual palette is dirty lemon yellow, raw sienna, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, and burnt sienna. Right, I've got my little cloth here to dab the excess water. Now I'll wet all over with the hake. Well, more or less, although that's dirty, isn't it? Anyway, so I'll leave some areas unpainted, but I'm going to paint around my house. I don't want, I'll use my new synthetic mixed sable and nylon. I'll go around that. I don't want it to go over. I want that to be nice and dry there, because I don't want the sky to come into the building. Now I've got my paper at 35 degrees or so, whereas for the past 7 or 8 months or longer it's been at vertical, just about vertical, on my studio easel, and I've gone back to this travelling portable Italian-made easel. It's a lovely piece of work. They're very much cheaper than I paid for it, but then some manufacturers seem to be making them. So we'll put it was a brooding sky that I did, I photographed, but we'll just put in some blue. You see already where I've left the dry paint, it comes to its hard edge. Now I'm painting around the cloud shapes here. Come all the way across. And in there we'll put some clouds, quite light. Underneath, I'll put some raw sienna in there. Give it just light red, ultramarine. And I don't want to get too much behind there. because this is going to be covered by a tree. Right, as that dries, I'll put in some raw sienna, which will just warm the clouds, and a bit of alizarin, why not? Very, very light, just to give some colour to the clouds, because clouds are never white. That's it, and we can go in a little bit darker, the base of those clouds. Going into the wet. You have a job to do this with the Fabriana. Alright, that's just a bit of colour on the horizon here. You can hear the paper catching the bristles on the brush, which is quite pleasing. Okay, that seems to be quite a nice sort of sky. Now that has grown somewhat, I'll reclip it, keep it nice and flat. Okay, just mop up the bottom of where that run down and congregate it. Right, I'll dry that off. Not too much. I want to put in the background now, so just the usual blue mix. I'll put in a bit of sienna in there. Right, okay, that'll do for that. Right, I want to put that tree in, so it's going to be quite a well, we'll mix a green. I'll use burnt umber, lemon yellow, good lemon yellow, and Payne's grey. Get a nice mix. Now, so the light's coming this way, so the lighter stuff will be. Try to get a pleasing shape on the tree. And as we come over to the other side, be the shadow side, we'll make it a bit darker and bluery green, like that. Right, get some more stuff, solid stuff in here. And then we're going with some nice lighter greens, and then we can put in some trunks and branches. Now as we come to the bottom, we're going to get into the shadow of this. Green. I remember there being some grassy bank there. On that background we'll put in some bit of a tree. the other side of it. And the shape of the roof. Okay. Now I want to put some darker green in here. Okay, that should do without overdoing it. Just a bit under there. Right, and I can take my rigger up into the canopy there. Just show bits of it. Now I'll do the more distant trees here with a bluey alizarin, bit of lemon yellow. Oh, look at that. Try to keep your shapes irregular. I'm going to have a bit some more over there. Let's come to there. What's there? So that's a bit of distant tree there. Why did I do that? Right. Okay. Now we'll put in a warmer tree now. Get a nice warmy green. Burnt sienna instead of the burnt umber maybe. And Plains grey. So burnt sienna. A bit of water. Okay. We'll put this one in. It's larger than the other one. We took a trailer tent, a folding camper to Brittany. We've been there 3 times to this site, near these megaliths. We had some lovely times there, going to the walled city of Van, Auray. France is a beautiful country. Well, so is Britain. But they seem to have a lot of choice in their supermarkets, which are far superior to ours. Although we're getting more cosmopolitan. But their supermarkets, their rural supermarkets in the towns, or the country towns, tend to have a lot of local produce. And they're like proper markets. Especially, we've been to some huge fish and meat markets in the supermarkets, which is also a general store, and had some lovely meals. And the lovely sights. Right, okay, so that'll do for that actually. I think I need just to strengthen that one up a little bit. It's just a bit bland, so I'll put in Plains grey. A bit of a darker, well, I'll put in some burnt sienna. Just strengthen it up a bit on the shadow side. Okay. Try to keep those slightly different in tone to the clouds. Right, let's do a bit of calligraphy. This is another one which, because I'm using smaller brushes and I'm putting more detail in, they're going to take longer. So, bear with me. You can always fast forward on the video if you wish. So I will just put this in. Just showing some branches and trunks going up into the canopies. I do love doing this. It's a journey of discovery for me as well, because I'm learning to improve, and the biggest problem of always is when you paint as much as I do is finding subjects to paint rather than keep doing the same old stuff. But yeah, hey, Monet painted all those haystacks, didn't he? And Rouen Cathedral. I'll with a smaller solar mix, I'm going to just put in a bit of a darker tree around here and there to show the sides of the building. So I'm going to use dark green. Just put it in. That's it, I'm going to do the same here. Right. It's supposed to be some sort of evergreen tree that's in shadow. But it's showing the size of the shape of the building. Let's just blow the canopy up a little bit there. Just soften it. Right, okay. Back to the rigger. Get in here now. That's quite a strong shadowed tree. Or trees, so let's just come up here. So I'm mixing Payne's Grey and burnt sienna. It's a warm dark. And you must remember to make your base of your trees substantial, otherwise they'll look as if they could topple over any time. I'll just go up into that canopy there, or that stuff that's in front, and then we can come out the top. Yeah, I might darken that up a little bit in there, just there we go. Get back in some darker stuff. Plenty of water on the rig for the rigger. Of course, it uses up water quite quickly on the rigger. But you can get really good thick lines with this little brush, depending on how you use it. I'll put in some ivy on this probably, just strengthen that up a little bit. Right, okay. Get some twigs going, or extending beyond the canopy. And don't forget, put them coming down as well. Ah, carry on. Just anchor that with a bit of harder, shadowy foliage. Alright, that looks suitably rough. There's a nice little bit of light on there, so that I'm going to leave that. Right, I'll just put some stuff in on there. Very faint on these. Okay. I want to put in some darker foliage on this. And same here. This nice green. Leave the holes in the trees for the birds. Bit of texture in there. Not a lot. Right, okay. I'll do the house now. So the white but dirty white. So if I just wet this house, this end of the house, or flank wall, and it's a bit dry, right, and it needs to be a little bit dirty, so dirty colour, good dirty colour, just at the bottom here, burnt sienna, burnt umber, burnt sienna, and Payne's grey, just where that chimney stack is, and I'll put it slightly pink. There's a bit in shadow. Like that, I might put that into a there's a black roof. It needs to be wet, but I'll put it in a minute. Let's do that darkish grey, slatey roof, blue. This gable here. Put some darker wall here. Or I can put a cast shadow on there. Right, that chimney, I'll put in just the side of the chimney, I think. This tiny brush, well, tiny point. And then, well, the smoke blackened, soot blackened top of this. That's just a little bit too dark. I'll do that again, that's right. Right, now I'm going to do some texturing, some brushy stuff across here in a minute. But I think I'm going to do that with the hake. I can start to do that with the various greens. So burnt sienna, bluey sienna, let's just get that across there and vary as we go. It was just all grass. The hake is wonderful for this. So don't think I'm abandoning my hake, because I'm not. Oh, I was going to do some sky, some watering, haven't I? Right, well let's put in a bit of blue for starters. Oh, I nearly forgot that. And this is our pond. Okay. That might just reflect a bit, but I'll put some stuff above it anyway. So that can reflect into this as a bank. Right, so right, let's carry on with the texturing. Bit of grassy green now. Sorry if I'm blocking you. I'll go over this with some cloud shadows too in this grass, but above all, make sure you add variety to all this. I know it looks all very easy, it is, but you have to be aware that it's too easy to create monotony. Got here, something over here. That's it. Try a little bit. No, a bit of cloud and a bit of. This will also show an undulation in the ground. Right, a bit more there. Don't get too carried away. Ah, that's good. Just a bit of interest, and then we can texture around here with the darker stuff, darker greens. Just get that in there. And that will do for our reflection into the pond. Put some nice. That's it. And across here, a bit more across here. Right, oh, I like that. Just because you like it, let me say to overdo it, that's just a suggestion. And that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to put a reflection of that in there. And I reckon just enough of that is showing there, so we just put that in. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Okie dokie. That I think is just a little bit too big to be so far away with the colour there. That's a good colour. I'll doctor that. I think just use that as an underpainting. Right now, do we need to put in some texture on this here now? So dark. Don't do too much. It just adds a bit of this to that. There you go. Just lovely. Bit of burnt sienna as well, a bit of meat, just a bit of warm, and a bit of red in there. Light red is a good mixer with Payne's Grey. Have to experiment with all this. Just put some glass on the top of that bank there. Right, let's see if we can just use a good bit of texture with that brush. Right, now I wanted a green there, a bluey green. Oh, I lost the plot there. Right, let's dirty this building up now. Right, now I'm going to put in some shadow under the eaves, various. No, I'm going to leave that. Maybe a bit of a chimney pot. Clean that off. Okay. And we'll put in a little chimney. Crashing a bit there with that tree, but never mind. Now some windows in there. And we're going to do some shadow. I want to put in some shrubby stuff there now across this here. So let's just. Now that doesn't really quite connect with the main painting. There's quite a bit of a gap. So I'm going to strengthen that tree up there. It's a bit better. Right, well that still shows the distance. I'll give that a dry. And in with the rigger, or the branches and trunks and things. Another tree there. Right, and very, very faint here. No, let that one go, I won't bother about that. Right, I'll sign it. Right, so I think I have to put some birds in because there's some little blots. Right, that'll do. I'll put it in a mount and then photograph it. This was the one I pasted on. That one there. You see that? So that's what we've done. I'll put it in a mount. I don't think my chimney pot does it any favours, but never mind. There we are. Just tighten that up a bit. Zoom in. And you can see my trees. My simple house. I quite like these trees, that clump of trees. Getting better with this brush. And got me primed with the reflections. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a nice weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.